and we would shoot the minnows in the tub until we whacked all them. Born and raised in Oklahoma. Wife and I and our two boys, we have two sons. We lived in Arkansas for a spell too, but back in Oklahoma, and just grew up in a very sparsely populated area, and spent most of my years at the end of the dirt road on the South Canadian River. So ample opportunities to hunt, fish, just as I mentioned just in our previous conversation there, subsistence farming. And I've shot a stick and string all my life, ever since I was a little bitty kid, just fascinated with bows. I'll tell you this little quick story to kind of describe the the flavor of the day. Of course, you know, when I would go to, excuse me, my granny and grandpa's house, they no plumbing, it's outhouse, right? They lived on the little house was right by a creek, just up the Canadian River, uh, just far enough up the creek to get out of the flood zone of the river. And but we'd go down there quite frequently, uh, and it wasn't much different at our house, by the way. We did have indoor plumbing, but my brother and I, my brother's a year older than I am, Dan. Dan and I would go to the creek. We'd play around and catch fish, and my granny would cook whatever fish we brought back and cleaned. I mean, it's literally she would fry up a 2-inch mudcat, and she did it often. But we would go dig some worms, and we would even we would beg some sewing pins from Granny and sewing thread, and we would catch these little minnows. And we would put the minnows in a bucket or a tub, a wash tub on the porch. It's the same one we took a bath in, right? We'd put the
Yeah.
minnows in a tub, and Granny would let each of us have a bobby pin and a couple of matches. So we would straighten out the bobby pin and take a piece of thread and make a bow out of it. And we would scrape the sulfur off the matches, and that was the arrow. And we would stick a pin in the end of that, or lash a pin to the end of that with the thread, and we would shoot the minnows in the tub until we whacked all them. Then we would feed the minnows to the chickens. We didn't waste nothing. But
Yeah.
I mean, even like at 2 or 3 years old, just fascinated with archery, and have done it all my life and just love it.